So, about that big deal. Today, I think most of us would agree that reducing CO2 emissions from the vehicles we drive is a step in the right direction. And as an industry, we know we've got some challenging targets to hit in these next few years. Now, some of those are internal targets. For example, at Hyundai, we strive to be the global eco-leader. It's part of our Blue Drive environmental strategy. And here in California, we are all working with CARB to help achieve an 80% reduction to transportation-related greenhouse gas emissions from the 1990 baseline. Now, the big question for all of us is, how do we get there? This is a big challenge. Well, we know for sure we need to put more zero-emission vehicles on the road. And that means electric vehicles. But exactly what kind of electric vehicles? Now, inside our industry, there's an extraordinary amount of passionate, and I mean really, really passionate debate on this topic. It's dominated by two different schools of thought. One says, let's store a bunch of electricity on board with lots and lots of batteries, right? There's another that says, let's make electricity on board with hydrogen fuel cells. Now, actually, at Hyundai, we believe there's a place for both solutions. And so you're going to see both in our lineup in the years ahead. Now, after 100 years on the back burner, the battery electric vehicle, something we sometimes call BEV, has made big strides both in technology and public consideration. But broad public acceptance and adoption have been limited by a few factors. Topping the list is one you've heard before, range anxiety. For all but the most expensive EVs, the ones carrying 1,000 pounds of batteries, range remains the #1 obstacle to actually making the decision to drive an EV. And another factor is charging time. Even fast charging stations take about half an hour to reach 80% of charge, and that fast charge comes at the price of future battery life. Now, the more typical recharge requires 4 to 8 hours using a 220 volt system. And if you use 110 volts, a full charge can take 24 hours or more. But there's another option, and it's much closer than you think. It's called the hydrogen fuel cell. What these vehicles really are, though, is the next generation of electric vehicles. It's an EV that makes its own electricity from hydrogen. Now, the benefits of hydrogen are well known. Its supply is virtually unlimited, and all the hydrogen we need here in this country can be produced domestically. And it can be produced in a number of ways, including from renewables. Now, these hydrogen fuel cell vehicles are as clean, and by some measures that we'll show you, cleaner than today's battery EVs. Yet they add the practical advantages we've all come to expect from our vehicles. They've got driving range of up to 300 miles. You can refuel them in just a few minutes. And there's endless choice in size and configuration. That's because it's more space and weight efficient to multiply the number of fuel cells than it is to multiply the number of batteries. In other words, fuel cells are scalable technology. So today, we're very excited to be part of this pivotal moment with all of you. The moment when our industry begins to roll out the next generation electric vehicle. Today, right here, the hydrogen fuel cell is making the shift from a research project to a real consumer choice. The Tucson fuel cell, this car right here, is the very first mass-produced, federally certified hydrogen fuel cell vehicle for the retail market. And it's on its way to Hyundai dealerships, not in 2015, not in 2016, this coming spring. Now, to tell you about our revolutionary vehicle, I want to welcome our Vice President of Product and Corporate Planning, my good friend, Mr. Mike O'Brien. Mike.
Thank you, John. The Tucson fuel cell vehicle is real. It's here, and it's ready for business. It's a production vehicle built on the same assembly line as the gasoline-powered Tucson, which allows us to leverage both the high quality and cost efficiency of this very popular vehicle line. It just happens to have one of the most advanced powertrains in the world. And as our friends at Honda announced earlier this afternoon with their fuel cell concept, our entire fuel cell powertrain fits under the hood. And that means no compromise for you and your gear. From the driver's perspective, the car is pretty amazing. It's powerful, agile, roomy, flexible, and incredibly quiet. Just like the standard Tucson, it can be fueled in less than 10 minutes. Its driving range is up to 300 miles, very close to the gasoline-powered Tucson. But in one respect, it's revolutionary. It generates exactly 0 greenhouse gas emissions. So this changes the whole paradigm that once limited the EV. In the past, you could have the benefits of an electric vehicle, but you have to accept the disadvantages. Driving range, refueling, scalability, and cold weather issues. Today, with the fuel cell Tucson, you get the best of both worlds. 0 emissions, great driving range, fast refilling, cold weather performance with no compromise, and you'll be able to enjoy all these benefits when the Tucson fuel cell hits the retail market this coming spring. So how do we get to this milestone? 3 forces have come together to create this moment. 1, steady advances in fuel technology. 2, a growing commitment to hydrogen infrastructure. And 3, new opportunities for hydrogen production. Over the past 16 years, Hyundai has been developing our homegrown fuel cell technology. In concept, it's surprisingly simple. In fact, fuel cells have no moving parts. By combining hydrogen and oxygen through an electrochemical process, the fuel cell releases electrical energy, and the only byproduct is water. Of course, the devil is in the details. We've gone through several generations of R&D to make a fuel cell system that's every bit as dependable and safe as a traditional internal combustion engine. Our fuel cell prototype vehicles have covered over 2.4 million miles on-road driving, including Arctic testing in Sweden, high elevation testing in Korea, and extreme heat testing in Death Valley. We've driven one of our current generation fuel cell vehicles well over 140,000 miles with only a slight degradation in power generation. We've of course subjected it to a full array of safety testing and met all the federal crash safety standards. And now, after these phases of R&D behind us, we now see a clear path to driving down costs as we continue to advance mass production techniques. By the way, volume manufacturing is already well underway in Korea. In fact, this vehicle is already in the market in Europe. Our fuel cell advances coincide with a renewed government commitment to hydrogen-powered transportation. In October, California Governor Jerry Brown approved a plan to develop 100 more hydrogen refueling stations here in the state. And there's also a growing federal interest in hydrogen. At the same time, there are new and growing sources of hydrogen emerging here in America. Bio-waste is now being used as an H2 source. In fact, this vehicle right here and the vehicle that will be available for the ride and drive tomorrow were both fueled up at the Orange County Sanitation District, where methane from sewage is turned into hydrogen. Hydrogen can also be sourced from water. There are methods already in use today that use electrolysis to split hydrogen using renewable wind and solar energy. Natural gas will be the cheapest source of hydrogen in the near term as renewables continue to evolve. And we have one of the largest supplies on the planet. Even with natural gas serving as a source, fuel cell vehicles have a lower overall impact on greenhouse gas emissions than any other powertrain technology. And these are the results of a definitive study conducted by the University of California, Irvine Advanced Power and Energy Program. The research team measured the total greenhouse gas emissions created from well-to-wheel. In other words, not just the tailpipe emissions, but all of the upstream emissions from drilling, coal mining, and refining. This is based on the U.S. electric grid. A battery EV is a big improvement over traditional internal combustion engines, but a fuel cell is actually cleaner. That's true if 100% of the hydrogen is sourced from natural gas. And it's even more dramatic when the hydrogen is sourced from biogas. This chart, by the way, does not include vehicle production. When manufacturing emissions are factored in, battery EVs fall even further behind fuel cell EVs. So this is a major turning point, and it begins here today. We're very proud to be among the first car makers to make the fuel cell EV available, and John will have some specifics on our launch strategy in just a moment. But no matter how promising a technology may be, it's first got to delight our customers. And that's also what we're doing with the continuous enhancements we're constantly making to our current lineup. And for more details on our 2014 advances, let's welcome the Director of Product Planning, Scott Margison.
Thanks, Mike. Before we jump into our news, I want to point out just how many improvements we've already made in this new model year. I'm talking about significant advances in performance, safety, comfort, design, and value. These include more than 50 enhancements to the 2014 Sonata, including new safety features such as available blind spot detection and lots of exterior changes. There are even more advances in the Equus, 65 this year alone. These include standard blind spot detection and rear cross traffic alert. The world's first application of a blind spot alert integrated with a head-up display, and much more. As for the new Tucson, it features a choice of two new direct injected engines, both delivering greater torque and responsiveness. There's a host of other refinements, including Hyundai Blue Link with Assurance Connected Care, standard on Tucson Limited, and much more. Those refreshed models are now on sale at Hyundai dealerships. But our biggest refresh is just around the corner with our award-winning Elantra family. 2014 Elantra sedan now offers a number of advanced features, including projector headlights with LED accents, LED taillights, new generation audio and navigation systems, and more. The new audio system features a color touchscreen display with rear view camera. The new navigation system has been enhanced with a more intuitive interface, better screen graphics, and Pandora Internet radio integration. The limited model features standard Blue Link and Assurance Connected Care. We've also added a new sport model to the Elantra sedan. It's powered by an all-new 2-liter direct-injected engine, which delivers 173 horsepower, a nearly 20% increase over the standard engine. The Sport also gets some exterior enhancements, including 17-inch alloy wheels, rear lip spoiler, and chrome exhaust outlet. The suspension and steering have also been retuned for a more athletic feel. These Elantra models will be arriving in dealerships in a few weeks. Now, let me point out a milestone we're pretty proud of. 4 years ago, right here in LA, we showed you our first vehicle to feature gasoline direct injection, the 2011 Sonata. In this new model year, 75% of the vehicles we sell will be powered by direct injected engines, all delivering that delightful combination of fuel savings, responsive performance, and reduced emissions. We work tirelessly to stay on the cutting edge of vehicle development to deliver lasting value for our customers. Now, speaking of that, we received a very nice validation on Monday from ALG. They awarded both the Santa Fe Sport and the Accent with the ALG Residual Value Award. This award goes to the one vehicle in each segment that is predicted to hold its value better than its competitors. We're proud to recognize this award with the Accent and Santa Fe Sport on display today. Now, we've got just one more piece of product news for you. In Hyundai's lineup,
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the Veloster Turbo R Spec.
The Veloster Turbo R-Spec was built to deliver maximum performance per dollar. We started with our Veloster Turbo model, featuring a 201 horsepower 1.6-liter direct injected turbocharged engine. We removed some of the premium content found on that model, such as heated leather seats, side repeater mirrors, and push-button start. Then we added things from the enthusiast wish list. We tuned the steering and suspension for greater road feel and sharper response. We added a short throw B&M Racing sport shifter to the enthusiast focused 6-speed manual transmission. And we added a few subtle visual cues, including red exterior accents and unique badging. And the best part of all, we retuned the Monroney sticker, shaving $1,000 off the price. At just $21,300, it's our most affordable turbocharged Veloster. Not to mention the best bang for the buck in the compact segment. It'll be on sale in early 2014. Now for a few final words, here again is John Krafchick.
Thanks, Scott. So, look, we always want to be number one, right? Just like every other auto company you guys have heard from today. In this industry, we really all have that. It's almost like a default setting. And that's always striving to be the best, to be the first. And it's that competition that leads to better and better products for our customers. But today, in one respect, the industry is actually pulling together. The fact that Honda and Toyota have joined us and announced mass production plans for hydrogen fuel cells this week is great news for everyone. It shows there's a critical mass growing around hydrogen power that will motivate further advances in technology and infrastructure. We're really getting the ball rolling. Now at Hyundai, we're going to start this new era with a pretty cool go-to-market strategy. And here it is in a nutshell. Are you guys ready? For $29.99 down and just $499 a month, you can drive the world's first mass-produced fuel cell vehicle, including unlimited free hydrogen refueling and at your service valet maintenance. Let me give you some background on those points. Now, when we spoke to customers interested in driving a hydrogen fuel cell car, many of them wondered what the cost of hydrogen would be. Now, to ease those concerns as we build out the hydrogen refueling network, we thought covering this cost in the monthly payment was the best approach. And when you think about it, it's consistent with other aspects of our Hyundai Assurance program. And just as Equus owners since 2010 have enjoyed at-your-service valet maintenance, so too will Tucson fuel cell owners. If service is required, a Hyundai dealer will pick up the car, provide a loaner, then return their car after service to the customer's home or business, all at no charge. No fuss, no muss, it's all included in the price. Equus owners love this industry-first convenience, and we think it's a great fit for the green, tech-savvy customer that we know the Tucson fuel cell will attract. Now, both of these unique approaches represent our commitment to our owners. It's our way of saying, this is another thing you don't have to worry about, we've got your back. And one more thing, the Tucson fuel cell will qualify for California's clean vehicle rebate of $2,500. We haven't already calculated that into those lease payments. So basically, 5 of your monthly payments will be picked up by the state. So we think we've got a compelling go-to-market strategy that's a great fit for this next generation of electric vehicles. Now our initial sales focus will be Southern California, right here, with 3 to 4 retail and service locations. We'll announce those a little bit later. Down the road, we'll expand sales to other markets as more and more hydrogen refueling stations open. Now for those who want to get their order in or simply learn more, we've just launched today our new Tucson fuel cell landing page right on Hyundai.com. It tells people in plain English why this is simply a great car. It tells them how we have reimagined the electric vehicle. Now, just as Mike did for you all today, it explains why this new generation of EV delivers the best of all worlds. Plus, it makes it very easy to be among the very first to park a hydrogen fuel cell car in your very own driveway. Finally, to give people even more opportunity to try out the Tucson fuel cell, we've just established a new partnership with Enterprise, which will have these vehicles available for daily rental at select locations here in Southern California. So it'll be a great way for lots of different people to see how easily the Tucson fuel cell vehicle might fit in their lives. So we think this is a pretty big deal, and we want to thank all of you for being here to share it with us. Now, in just a few moments, you'll have the opportunity to inspect the Tucson fuel cell up close, the Veloster Turbo R Spec, the 2014 Elantra, and all the rest. We'll be here to answer your questions, to hear whatever thoughts you might have. But before you go, I hope you'll come and join us at our reception. You would break Jim Trainer's heart, right, Jim, if you didn't come along.